Inside Science.
Greetings, science friends. My name's Alistair Jennings, and here's a quick roundup of some of the exciting discoveries that happened this month. And it is not every month that you discover a brand new organ. Buried in our skin, right on the border between the dermis and the epidermis, are millions of these microscopic mesh-like structures. They're made of Schwann cells, through which poke neurons, kind of like nails poking through saran wrap. Together, they form a complex of cells that registers pain, a brand new sensory organ. Now, before this study, we thought only neurons could sense pain, but researchers genetically modified mice so their Schwann cells could be activated by light, a technique called OPTOGENETICS. When they shone the light at the mice's feet, the poor mice started guarding their paws, shaking them and licking them. All signs of feeling pain that can only have come from those Schwann cells. This is a breakthrough in understanding pain, and there are also hints that the Schwann cells are specialized to sense kinds of pain that neurons can't. And with more work, we may be able to tease apart which cells sense what pain and target them appropriately for highly specific pain relief. And that would be great, because currently, much of our pain treatment is very generalized. That's certainly the case with the now infamous opioids. Opioid chemicals affect brain areas through structures called mu-opioid receptors. Now, we've known about those for a while, but this month we discovered their evil twin, the GPR139 receptor. Activate GPR139 and it cancels out the pain-relieving power of opioids. But switch GPR139 off, then opioids both relieve pain better, and amazingly, the pain of opioid withdrawal is diminished. Now, so far, this has only been shown in mice, experiments which will surely send some scientists to mouse hell, but the implications for human treatment are huge. Addicts fear coming off opioids because of the horrible withdrawal. If we could deactivate GPR139, we could take that pain away and open up a whole new route to recovery. Now, one of the most frustrating things about the opioid epidemic engulfing the US is that doctors prescribe far more opioids than patients actually need. In fact, this month, a study of patients from 43 Michigan hospitals found that they could reduce their dose by almost a third and still get the same pain relief. Doctors are over-prescribing opioids just because they're available. It's crazy. Imagine your doctor prescribing you some totally unnecessary antibiotics, or a surgeon sticking in another kidney while they're operating just because they've got one lying around. In fact, we could cut down opioid use even further with more creative ways to treat pain. What about 10 minutes in a virtual reality experience 3 times a day? Doing this, researchers managed to decrease patients' pain by 1.5 points on a 10-point pain scale. As we understand more and more about how our psychological state affects our physical pain, we can exploit this with new technology to help wean us off medication. Now, let's get away from human problems for a second and think bigger. The world. Our home has been trashed like a teenage house party, and some people are still doing it. A new report from the UN shows that climate change and agriculture are threatening global food supply by turning the land to desert. We are losing soil 10 to 100 times faster than it's being created. If we want to keep eating food, spoiler alert, we do, then we need to look after the land better, and we need to waste less, and brutally, we need to eat less meat. And I know, meat is delicious, but so are the ice caps, and so is tuna, and salmon, and shellfish, and those mouth-watering little sushi things that don't have a name, which makes what I'm about to say so much harder. All those things may soon be gone too, because we're also destroying the seas. Human stress put on the seas, including fishing, climate change, pollution, shipping, has doubled in the last decade, and it's going to double again this decade, according to another paper out this month. That is going to lead to ocean ecosystem collapse. In some cases, it already has, like the Black Sea in Asia. And that would mean no more fish. Now, there is some hope. If we stick to the Paris Climate Agreement and get a grip on overfishing, that will help. But if we don't do something, our home will become our hell. And if that sounds overdramatic, then please, as soon as this news is finished, watch this video on the Inside Science website about how climate change is increasingly causing deadly heat waves. Basically, things could get a lot worse. Well, maybe not that bad. That's actually the surface of the asteroid Ryugu, which a Japanese spacecraft reached last year. You can see more about that in a previous video. But this month, researchers released new images showing two types of rock, dark and rough, and bright and smooth. These two rock types are evenly distributed across Ryugu, giving us a clue to the origin of the asteroid. At some point, two objects made of different materials impacted, and the resulting rubble likely reaccumulated to form Ryugu. Now I hope that we don't leave the Earth looking like that. And that's it from me. If you enjoyed these stories, you can find loads more on the Inside Science website. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next month. Goodbye.
Inside Science. If you enjoyed this edition, follow us on the web and social media. Powered by the American Institute of Physics and a coalition of underwriters.